Luffy couldn't remember a time he felt this angry. What? He yelled as he jumped out of bed. He didn't care that his entire body hurt. Nami's in trouble, he gulped. Chopper continued to cry. She tried to get rid of the clones with Zeus, but Pierre turned into Nami and he convinced Zeus that he was his real master. We tried to stop him, but his clones were keeping us occupied. Pierre took Nami on Zeus and we don't know where they went. Luffy walked past Chopper and Carrot. The mink tried to reach for Luffy's arm, but he pulled it away. Luffy. Carrot blinked nervously. He made it to the main deck and Brook and Sanji looked at him with glazed eyes. Sanji closed his eyes in frustration and sadness. Sorry, Luffy. Luffy walked past them as well and sat atop Sunny's head. His crew looked at him from the deck, each of them equally scared and perplexed by this new behavior. Without turning to face them, Luffy spoke, set sail for the other side of the island. Nami's paw. Nami was desperately trying to think of a way to escape. It was just her and Pierre atop Zeus, but Pierre was still in her form, and he had her claim attacked. As he continued to feed Zeus thunderclouds, he laughed and spoke in Nami's voice, "See that ship over there, Zeus?" Pierre pointed to an old cargo ship on the opposite shore of the island. "Yes, master," Zeus replied, mouth still full of cloud bubbles. "Head over there," he commanded, and Zeus followed. There was a moment of silence, and Nami spoke up, "Why did you take me?" Pierre scoffed, "Isn't it obvious? Clearly you and the boy with the straw hat have some kind of special connection. If I take you, he'll surely head our way. He and his crew will come to save you, and while they're all distracted with rescuing you, I will have your ship." Nami suspected as much, but she had to play dumb for this to work. This guy has no idea what we're capable of. Luffy's paw. Sunny hadn't even made it halfway around the island when Brook tentatively approached Luffy, who was still sitting on her head and hadn't spoken a word. Luffy-san, Brook said. "We've run out of cola entirely, we're not going to be able to." Luffy turned around to face Brook with sincerity, "Take out the oars. We'll row there." Brook stood there for a moment before going off to fetch the oars and the other crewmates. Luffy looked down at his bandaged hands. "What good am I if I can't save my friends? I need Nami back, now, oi, Luffy!" Chopper yelled. Luffy turned back to see the reindeer on the main deck, pointing up at the sky. Chopper continued to point upwards. Could that be? Luffy followed Chopper's gaze and spotted a small white cloud directly above them, traveling in the same direction as they were before Sunny stopped. Still without a word, Luffy stood up and extended his arm all the way up to Zeus. Before the rest of his crew could react, he pulled himself upwards toward the cloud. Nami's paw. Nami peered over the side of Zeus and spotted the Sunny directly below them. She kept quiet, hoping that Pierre hadn't noticed. Suddenly, a bandaged hand gripped Zeus and Nami jumped back a little. Pierre turned to face her. "What are you doing?" It was at that moment that Luffy sprang up and flew into the air, landing right in between Pierre and Nami. Pierre quickly transformed into Katakuri once again, ready for another beating. Straw Hat. Nami's heart fluttered as Luffy stood in front of her and extended his arms. "I might be too injured to fight, but I sure as hell ain't gonna let you hurt Nami." Quote. Luffy. Nami's eyes filled with tears. Luffy didn't turn to face, he kept his stance so that his body shielded hers. Pierre only chuckled, but just as he was about to deal strikes, a flaming black leg shot across his face. Pierre stumbled and the clean attack fell onto Zeus. Luffy and Nami turned to see Sanji using his skywalk technique. The chef looked at Luffy sternly. "Finish it, Captain." Luffy nodded and took a few steps towards Pierre, who was desperately trying to regain his balance. He had reverted to his original form, and Luffy put a hand on the man's chest. "Sayonara." With that, Luffy only had to apply a little strength to push Pierre off Zeus and into the thick woods. Where stories live. Discover now.
Once again, one drink, bitch. I have coffee.